Welcome to the Old Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
We're taking a trip back in time today.
Mike, listen, it's, HALLOWEENFEST is rolling on, and I can't think, this is right up there in the pantheon of horror films. So we're talking today about Zepotha.
Yeah.
Which,
Directed
course,
by Paul Saganey.
Right.
Which we know from some other things.
Right. SAG is, the folks in the film industry refer to him as. But came out in 87, released in 1987, which...
I was living in Florida.
Yeah, I was in high school at the time when this came out.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. And it's you can set it up maybe, but it's like if Sixth Sense met Breakfast Club, met Memento, met...
And there's some humor in there.
There is.
Too,
there's some humor. Yeah.
The only thing, I think, the chainsaw stuff, they really copied, like, the guys dancing with the saw.
It was kind of like the dance that Conan does with the strings.
Right. They copied that a little too much from Chainsaw Massacre. But other than that, it's pretty original,
Well, how do you get away from that? I mean, any film that's going to show a chainsaw, you immediately got to think of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so it's kind of hard to get around that.
Yeah, but they're trying to mix humor in there with horror.
Yeah, which
that's tough to do.
That's not uncommon, though. I mean, you could think of most horror films where, think of anything. Even Halloween.
It's like a nerd. It's like a nerd making...
It's a little too much in the comedy thing.
Right. I thought so.
Right. To where it almost becomes a little bit silly, to where you can't really take the horror that seriously almost.
And, the character Cole, which is the best friend of the main character.
Right.
Played by Michael Callahan.
Why does that always seem like the name of a character that you know is going to get it in the first 20, 30 minutes of the film?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But he was really funny. I thought he made me laugh, like, whenever he was on screen.
Right.
He
almost reminded me of, who's it? Donnie Most? Am I pulling that reference out that played Ralph?
Happy Days?
Yeah. Is it Donnie Most?
He looks like him. Has kind of curly hair and stuff, but funny guy.
It was, the directing, like you said, Paul Saganey, this isn't his first foray, too, into this.
Did you see the reveal that they were twins coming?
No.
I remember back in 87, I went, a friend of mine, I went to the movies with his girlfriend. We were just hanging out.
Right.
And we were there was only like 6 people in the theater. And we were giggling through the whole thing. Even the kills.
Yeah.
It was just kind of funny.
And this one could easily have gone the way of like Rocky Horror Picture Show, where it's kind of like, right. It lends itself to that kind of interactive sort of vibe,
I didn't even think of that. Have you ever gone to a true Rocky Horror Picture Show where they're really throwing the stuff?
No, but I know you did. You guys
I did in Boston.
I remember you coming home with leftover rice and things.
Yeah, I remember.
Where are you going with this stuff?
I was in the balcony, and I was, you brought squirt bottles to make it rain. Mm-hmm. Well, I was looking at somebody. They were 50 feet below me, and I took the spray thing off, and I just poured it. I was just soaking this one guy. And all of a sudden, he turned around. He's like, "I'm coming up there."
Yeah, imagine if you did that today, you probably get shot.
I know, I get shot.
It kind of reminds me of, we said like it's got some Sixth Sense vibes, Breakfast Club kind of vibes. Saturday the 14th. I don't know if that's a film I'm not sure you've ever seen.
No, I never saw it.
Friday the 13th, but Saturday the 14th. That also came out in the 80s, and a cult classic.
Right.
And but I would compare it to that, where that was just they were making no bones about like, this is a horror comedy, in capital letters.
Right.
And horror kind of taking a bit of a
And I thought the actress that played Elaine reminded me of the Seinfeld character. They look sort of alike.
Well, they might as well have had her in a couple of scenes doing the old...
Yeah, the dance.
The Elaine dance.
The thumb dance.
Exactly. Yeah, as you said, like, the casting overall wasn't bad. I think it was.
Like I'm shocked that I remember this,
Yeah.
but I remember going to the theater and seeing this.
Right. Right.
And it's kind of like all of a sudden, getting a second life with video and streaming.
Especially with streaming, like on Tubi and Freebie.
Yeah.
You can kind of find it on most of those platforms. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's kind of interesting. It's getting a rebirth, like you said.
And you just do a search for Zepotha, right?
Zepotha. Yeah.
And just do a search for it, and it'll come up.
And I mean, the ratings. I mean, if you look at like Rotten Tomatoes, I mean, there's worse films rated out there.
There is.
You know,
like we talked about the Crow sequels where they got 0.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I think it was in the 30s.
Yeah, I mean,
critics.
It's rotten, but
right.
But the audience is, I think it was like 49 or something like that. So it's like right there.
Right.
And again, where it's getting this kind of resurgence now, maybe
half the people like it, half don't. So
yeah. I don't
we found it all funny.
Yeah.
Like even when the guy's head gets cut off with the chainsaw, I was chuckling.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. And am I supposed to be laughing?
I wasn't supposed to be.
I don't think so. Yeah, there's a carnival scene in there too where it kind of reminiscent of like Funhouse was another movie from back, which I think in the 70s.
Right.
Kind of had some Funhouse vibes.
Yeah. There was another guy, his name was like a fish. Turgeon?
Sturgeon?
No, Turgeon. Arthur Turgeon.
Oh, yeah.
He was like the cinematographer or the AD, something like that.
Yeah, I didn't recognize any of his other
But
work.
he was in, like, at one point, he stepped into the frame. Real ugly dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, Turgeon, but, you're not the best looking dude out there.
Ouch. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and this is one, I don't, with this must have been like on VHS when it first came out, when it hit it must have been in the video. This would have been a very popular video rental.
Probably.
Film.
But I remember seeing it in the theater, and then I haven't seen it in 40 years or heard of it in 40 years. So
yeah, I didn't catch it that first time around.
I think
listen, does it get a new theatrical release perhaps? I don't know.
They'd have to clean it up.
You get enough hype and enough buzz going about it, maybe.
It would definitely be R-rated, no question about that.
Yeah, but so would you?
When Mike Callahan
recommend...
takes his pants off, it's like you can't show that today.
But it's not R-rated. That's the thing. It's not R-rated. No way. It's PG-13.
No way.
It's PG-13. Yeah. So I don't know. Now, would you recommend it or not?
It depends.
Okay.
It's a good point. I'd recommend it for if you're going in with like a sense of humor.
Okay.
If you're going in thinking, hey, Sagani's putting a real movie up there.
Yeah.
No.
Like, okay, right. Like, don't go in thinking you're going to see like blood, guts, gore, true horror film, what have you. It's
really and this isn't Citizen Kane.
No.
Go in there with the attitude. Hey, maybe this will be funny.
Well, listen, I mean, you can check it out for yourselves. This is the Old Brother review of Zepotha. Again, it's 1987.
You'll know in the first 20 minutes.
You'll know. Yeah.
If you and if you don't like it, just go to a different cinema.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say if you can pull it up, you get it free on Amazon Prime or something maybe. But I'm not. But
the fun of it, like the fun of Rocky Horror. I would never watch Rocky Horror by myself in my room. It's not that kind of movie. I go for the experience.
It should be a communal kind of
thing. That's what this is.
Yeah, you get a bunch of friends together and check it out. And again, going in knowing it's more comedy than a horror, but it still lives in both worlds.
Like I said, a guy gets his head chopped off and I'm chuckling,
Yeah.
Probably not what they were going for.
Probably not. Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for another episode of the Over There Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith, and we will see you next time.
Boo, everyone.